guys, welcome. This is the first episode of Nothing. We don't really have a name. It's just unofficial, but we're chatting a little bit. We've got a list to go through. I'm going to fire off what the topics are today. Brady unretires. Breaking news. Anthony Edwards compared to Michael Jordan. Is he the next one? Rob does rainbow collecting. He tries to get all the parallels together for inserts or sets or whatnot, and we're going to discover that a little bit. We got Amari Cooper potentially going to the Browns. I don't know if that's a solid deal, but it's one of our topics. And then the baseball strike is over. We've got a baseball season, folks. So without further ado, let's get to the first topic. Tom Brady announces his unretirement today. Not that he was really super official retired, because there's been question marks ever since he left. Give me your thoughts.
I'd say that he did officially retire, coming out with the statement, releasing to the team, fans, everyone else. Not surprised he's back.
Okay.
Honestly, no surprise that he came back. I think when he came down here, he had, me being from Florida, came down here, he had an idea in mind. He said he wanted to do something, and this is the first time in Brady's career where he's announced that he wanted to do something that he hasn't done, and that's playing to a certain age and a certain point.
Sure.
So I thought it was going to happen sooner rather than later. I'm glad he did it now and didn't wait another month for at least the Tampa Bay organization standpoint.
Right, because that could have been a huge negative impact to them. They could have made some trades. They could have drafted, what they thought was the next. Probably not this draft class, but yeah.
I don't think they would have drafted, but I mean, you can already kind of see the swing even in the card market for me, like being a Florida native and being down here. You saw the day that he announced his retirement, the uptick in Kyle Trask.
Right. 100%.
Very sure you go on eBay, just look at the past sales of a 30 and a 60 day, and you'll see a severe dip to a severe decline. And then the next 30 days from now, you'll see another decline.
Absolutely.
And for me, that's a buy in the dip.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle Trask. Okay. So I woke up, I think it was whatever day after, 2 days after he retired. And sometimes I check market movers in the morning. Sorry, I have a habit, everybody. But Kyle Trask cards were in the top, I don't know, they were like 2 of them in the top 20 or 3 of them in the top 20, something like that. And I'm like, guys, really? Like that's the investment play from here? As a crowd of collectors, that's what you chose to do. Yeah, okay. All right, you guys can have them because I didn't buy a single one. I didn't even think twice about looking for one. However,
personally, I think he's probably one of, if not the most underrated quarterback from that class.
Yeah, because he didn't get any time, and now he sat behind Brady. Is that a real play?
I don't necessarily mean that he didn't get any time. I mean, just from a draft standpoint alone.
Yeah.
But, today is March 13th, 2022. Let's see March 13th, 2026. Where Trevor Lawrence is at, where Zach Wilson is at, and where Kyle Trask is at.
Hey, that's a take. That's a take, and it's not terrible. I don't know enough about Trask to say anything. That's my truth. I just saw it, and he wasn't hot on anybody's radar prior to midway through the season or something. People started talking about it a little bit. But yeah, dude. But think about it too. Like Chris Godwin, right? Got franchise tagged. Is that true? Yeah.
Believe so, yeah.
Yeah. It had to be him. So he gets tagged. If he doesn't get tagged, it's Tom Brady unretiring.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I like that. I'm a big Tom Brady fan, so
I don't think that any other player or players is going to affect the way that he views his playing standpoint. I mean, look at what he's done from the day he's come into the league until now. Okay. The last player drafted and then taking the major stage, they built teams around him and he's made teams be better than what they were because of who he is.
Sure.
I was never a Brady believer in the beginning. First 2 Super Bowls, okay.
Fluky, kind of, maybe.
Yeah. Then 3, 4, 5.
We got 7 now.
And yes, they built dynasties around him, but that's what organizations do across the board in every sport.
True. Very true.
You're not trying to build a team to win a Super Bowl. You're doing the wrong thing. Get out of the business.
So surprised we haven't heard it yet. But Gronk to the Bucks for a 1 year, 12, 15, 17 million. Where are we at?
5 because he's playing with Brady.
Yeah, you think he takes the pay cut just for the opportunity?
I most certainly do, and especially when you know the way Gronk has lived. To this date, Gronk has yet to touch a single dollar of any NFL paycheck.
What?
All he does is live off endorsements.
I did not know that that was a real fact.
His first couple of years in New England, he lived in a literally like a regular 2-bedroom apartment that he paid almost nothing for. He did not have a home. Him and his family have done some things, yes, but he's not the only one in his family that makes money.
Sure.
But Gronk will be very well off for as long as time goes. I think that you're going to see one of these true runs when we see who else hits free agency.
Sure.
I see Gronk coming back for lower money. I see also players going to renegotiate their contract to give the Buccaneers the cap space.
Interesting. I like that. I think that's really, really good. I'm a big Tom Brady fan. I have several of his cards. I still have one rookie card of his. I've had a couple in my tenure, but I got my favorite of all the cards I have. It's not even worth the most. It's just the I believe it's a 2002 Topps Chrome, first edition Topps Chrome. So I've got a couple of those, and then I also have the Ring of Honor from Topps Chrome that year. So that's pretty cool too. I like those.
I have 0 Brady's.
Right. Anything Brady. But what do you think it's going to do to Brady's card market real fast?
I think that you may have seen a slight uptick with him retiring, knowing that this was his last season.
Yep.
I think you're going to see over the next 30 to 90 days, especially with it being off season, probably a slow but steady almost increase. I say maybe 5-10%. I think the season time will come around. People would be wanting to buy thinking it's his last, but it's just one of those things where got to see how he does, got to see how the team does, but it's going to be a very interesting roller coaster for the people that have kind of bought Brady at the peak now to see what happens in the next 12 even to 24 months, because I believe one of his statements was at least a year I'm coming back.
I think I don't know how he does 2 more years. He's 44. He's actually 44 today. I don't know how 2 more years works, but he might be the miracle man. Who knows? But summer dip, I'm calling it right now. I mean, Tom Brady's summer dip.
You're going to have the obvious summer dip just due to it being off season as we rotate into hockey and soccer coming up soon and baseball getting off the ground.
With the retirement, though, I think it's bigger, just a little bit than the average football summer dip.
It'd be definitely an interesting topic to look into to see how much he actually does dip.
Let's timestamp it. It's March 13th. We're going to talk again in the summer. Let's try and make that happen.
I like that.
All right, we're moving on to the next topic. I recently read Anthony Edwards is being compared to Michael Jordan. Patrick Beverly, an 8-year vet, says Anthony Edwards is the next MJ. What's your take on that? And then I'll give you mine.
First and foremost, there will never be another MJ.
Right on.
You cannot compare him to anybody.
Anybody
that wants to have a conversation is who the GOAT of basketball is. MJ is the GOAT.
Ooh, me too. I'm on the same team. So I guess we're just the MJ GOATs.
I don't care what you say. Yes, LeBron may have done and will do more. Go look at the number of games played.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about stats and what you can accomplish in a short period of time? Yes. You got it, buddy.
Let's go ahead and say that Michael and LeBron played the same number of seasons. Okay, so LeBron has just caught up to Michael in the scoring, the point, the rebounds. So if they played the same length of careers, he would only be halfway.
Yeah, I mean, and don't forget, Jordan came back to the Wizards for those 2 seasons at the oldest point in his career. Still averaged over 20 and put up some really, really sweet numbers on a really shitty team.
But the closest we'll ever get to Jordan was Kobe.
Yeah, shooting guard wise, I mean, it could happen again eventually. But now is Anthony Edwards maybe a guy like that?
Possibly, but that does not make him a Jordan, nor should be compared to Jordan. I mean, who knows? Maybe 25 years from now, we'll be saying this person is the next Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
I mean, everything does is like, as much as our generation compares everything to Jordan, what about Wilt? What about
Wilt's amazing.
What about Bill Russell? So it's going to have your generational players, and it's going to depend on who you talk to in the market. You go in now, the market is been so crazed for the past 2 years. You have a lot of new people, a lot of old people, but it's also no longer an old man's hobby.
Right.
We've always wanted to have kids involved, and they always were. But now, when you're going to shows, you're seeing a 15, 16-year-old walking around with $100,000 collection from doing
Feel
trades.
old.
Up.
I feel old when I go to a card show. It's super real.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
there's guys older than me too, but I still feel old just based on the averages.
it's pretty crazy. But I mean, I think Anthony Edwards is a great player, but we will see what happens.
He looks promising. I'm gonna tell you that. But before we got on the line here, I I read that article and then I just did a quick Google search and I was looking at points per game, rookie year, second year, that kind of thing. You take Michael Jordan's first two, he was at like 24, 25 points per game for the first 2 years averaged out. And Edwards is at 21. And so I'm like, you got to have a good impact to start, right? You gotta start with the same kind of swagger and high stats in order to be that good. I think you got to be pretty damn good out of the box. So I don't know if Edwards is there yet, but Giannis disproves you got to be good out of the box. He's an anomaly in that flavor. So you can't count anybody out and try to base it off of something linear, right?
I mean, if you really want to look at the situation, it's like if you would have said 2 years into Tom Brady's career that he's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, would you?
Everybody would have laughed at you.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll call the Giannis the Tom Brady of basketball.
Maybe.
I don't think people realize how good he is
I
and
do.
how much more he's going to put out. I think Giannis in 10 years will be in the conversations of top 10, if not higher, in basketball.
Sure. I mean, there's people who want to argue top 10 already. I mean, in statistical references and accomplishments, he's really close.
I mean, you got to put Kevin Durant in that conversation, which I think most people would.
Sure. But I mean,
2 years,
well-rounded, all-around player, defensive player, you know what I mean? All the stuff.
I think that's the biggest difference that we have nowadays is we don't have that offensive and defensive player across the board.
What Giannis kind of is, because
Yeah.
he's got the defensive player of the year, and he's looking at another one right now. He's staring at it pretty freaking hard.
Yeah, I would love this. I would love to see him sweep a lot of things across the board.
I mean, hey, if we win another chip, great. We got one though. I like that. That's nice. So.
Yeah, I think he possibly has 3 to 5 by the time he's done.
I like it. I like that bold prediction.
Now the only thing is, I'm not saying that they'll all happen there.
Ooh, you think he could leave?
I don't know that he could possibly leave, but I think it depends on how short of cap that the organization gets and whether or not they feel that they can afford him.
Yeah, Chris Middleton's getting aged out soon, probably, huh? Like a little bit. Cap space, age, talent version. I don't know that that's always going to be the way it is right now, but they got freaking Brooke Lopez and Drew Holiday for a penny a piece, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, we were talking about Anthony Edwards. So Anthony Edwards, question mark, great potential. Maybe he doesn't deserve to be compared to anything awesome or great at this moment.
Too early. It's just too early. Like with any player, it's just across any sport, you got to have at least, in my opinion, 3 to 5 seasons in to really see what a player is going to do.
Sure.
You got to think of their transitioning. This is a young man who's just getting to his early 20s, ripe age. There's a lot that has to be done mentally, a lot that has to be done physically.
Yep.
And a lot that has to be done prepared to be ready for that moment. So it's in 2 more years, I think we'll know what he's going to be.
Look at Zion right now. Yeah.
He'll never play 60 games.
He'll
never play 60 games.
He might be the most injury-laden, hyped-up potential person ever, right? I mean, he had a foot problem, and now he's been out for the whole season. Like, dang, dude.
He also did it to himself. I'm sorry. When you're in that kind of position, I mean, there are however many millions of kids that dream to get to the spot where he got.
Right.
And I understand the first injury, but the way that he took care of his body, the way that he took care of himself, the way that he's not put that city on his back, taking care of his teammates, reaching out after trades. Not only is he just a guy that's never going to play 60 games physically, I don't think he'll ever be a team leader unless something drastically changes in his life.
Yeah, because he's got a weird his mentality thing. I don't think is a leader, team leader. He's not that Brady Jordan type of a dude in that respect.
Well,
Yeah.
those come few and far between.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. That's why they're great. All right, we're gonna move on. So Rob has a passion, everybody, for rainbow collecting, and I want to dig into this a little bit. What I have a weird question for you, actually. It's not what do you have, but what gave you the inspiration to start collecting the rainbow parallels?
Honestly, I just think that they look extremely well together, but it's also, I'm not talking about just any colors across the board. I'm usually talking about the set's numbered actual rainbow for that set.
Right, not
Um,
just short prints, but the actual numbered cards that are in hobby boxes, most likely
correct.
not as much retail, right?
Correct. But that's the nice thing is that some of them are retail exclusive,
Oh,
some of them
sure.
are hobby exclusive. So being able to put together a full set is either A, you're opening a crap ton of product, which good for you.
If you
Wish
could
I had
afford that,
more.
man, yeah, good on you.
But it's just when you have a finite number of things, especially when it comes to these parallels, it makes each level harder.
Oh, yeah. Numbered to
So,
5, numbered to 10, 25. I mean, you got to realize that literally there's 5 of these things in the whole world in existence, right? You
exactly.
know,
So
that's
it's
nuts.
not it's not only that, but it's when you figure out the numbers, you can count it up. Like for instance, my personal rainbow that I'm chasing, I believe the total numbers of cards through the whole series is 1,756.
So that's what you have to work with to collect how many different variations is that approximately?
It's 1,756 of that one card. So
Wait a
the
minute, time out. You will have in a full rainbow
I,
1,756?
I want to have the highest percentage of the rainbow as possible.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm not.
So
It's I like rainbows in general as far as collecting, but my wander, which is kind of where I got started with it, I would like to basically kind of hedge that card because of my faith in what he'll become.
okay.
But it's also I like to just across the board in any with any player. Like if you look into like the same baseball players in that set, so that same rainbow, those players will only have 1,756 cards that are numbered. So
Okay,
if you
okay, I see what you're saying now. So you're not going to try to collect that many for a rainbow. How many individual cards is that? Is it like 16 different parallels or
uh,
whatever?
I believe between 9 and 12, depending, and then that's just paper variations, and then you
Okay,
also step over and go to a either 12 to 14 range on the chromes.
okay.
So
And you talk
that's
about
also
tops baseball, right?
tops. I mean, this is in any sport, any player, any designation that has the numbered printings of parallels
Okay.
are usually right there similar. But I mean, you look at even basketball, you're going to have your paper,
Yep.
and then you're going to have your either hollow or foil version of it, depending on where you're at. So there's really two different worlds of rainbows.
Yep.
There's super top end, which is not going to be cheap, and
Yeah,
then there's
Chrome's for the serious money bringers.
it doesn't really have to be serious money. It's you got to do what you like, but it's just knowing that there's a finite number and then seeing them when they're graded and seeing a pop count so you could know that there might only be one true nine rainbow across the board. So if you happen to come across, someone has the rainbow but everything's an 8.5 and you grade that card and it's a, even out of 99, out of 50, and it comes back that 9 and you can have someone or help them complete the highest rated rainbow.
Ooh, they'll
I
pay a
think
lot for that.
the variances when it comes to that type of stuff is going to be what makes the rainbows, I think, in my mind, the next step under autos. I mean, some autos are just ridiculously expensive, and
Yep.
it's just one of those things where you could look and look, but it's never going to happen. But the rainbow is just display the finite number, and trying to assemble is not easy.
No, no, no. I've not done any rainbows. I've collected some select short prints of Giannis, not really numbered on purpose, just because I want to try to see if I can get all the different variations that are not numbered. But I don't call it a rainbow. I just call it a hobby.
Yeah. There's
um,
also, I see down the road for the hobby for selling that it could possibly bring a premium in the secondary market due to the fact that
you have them already, right?
you've assembled it. I mean, the time that goes into it, anybody that knows that's chasing the rainbow, you know exactly how much time you're putting in checking auctions on eBay, ComC, wherever you're at, going to local shops, networking on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever you're doing, trying like people that know me know that I cross post all the time. Hey, it's been another month looking for that Red out of five.
Right.
Put me in contact, and I'm going to keep doing that until I find one.
Until you get one. Yeah, just perseverance can help that totally, right? You give up, it's over. Awesome, dude. So all right, next question on the rainbows. What's your favorite current completed one that you have?
Oh, I have an old school set from 2002 between the pipes hockey,
Okay.
and they did a different color mask insert for goalies. I wish I had it. I'd go get
Dang,
it.
dude.
But so it's a cheaper ish card, but it was when I first started really collecting. So
Yep.
like the right 2001 to 2003 era, and it's just I used to love goalies. I don't know why. I'm a bigger dude. Maybe I thought I had aligned with them the best, and it was just really cool to put together. And I've always just thought that you never really have all of it until you have every color.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just
Are those
something.
numbered or no?
No, not back then.
Okay. Yeah.
But
That's what I thought.
I mean, Tyler Hero putting his rookie prism color together is being somewhat of an easy task,
Okay.
somewhat not.
How many are you short on that? Handful yet?
Like three.
Ooh. Okay. Make sure
Yeah,
you post that on Instagram when you're finished because I want to see
I
that.
will. Yeah, when I get done with the move in about 10 days, I'll be
Well, that's
getting
right. You're moving.
more, yeah, more heavy into this. And then right now, I've been working on Trask, Waddle, and Najee Harris.
Okay.
And
Nice. That's really
no for
cool. Yeah,
Mosaic. Yeah.
those aren't even common plays. Like nobody's out there probably trying to emulate you, maybe but one person or something at the moment, you know?
I feel that there's a very large community when it comes to putting the rainbows
You
together.
think so? You think it's big?
I honestly really do. I just don't know that it's really something sought after on necessarily. Like I don't think you're gonna go walk into a show and see a table that a great thing could be come taste the rainbow, and they
Sure.
just have rows of players. It's just
Yep.
rainbow, 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 and just
That'd be crazy.
it would be insane to see.
Your
That's
booth
kind of
would be busy as shit, man. Like people would be lining up just to look at it because that's how fun it is.
yeah.
So, well, cool, man. Thanks for sharing some of that. We've got two more topics to get through tonight. Just want to say thank you last minute on this. This was fun to put together.
I love it.
All right, so Amari Cooper to the Browns. I'm not I'm not 100% that's confirmed. I don't know if that passed all the flags yet, but it seems like it's super legit. Um,
And I believe Amari Cooper is going, and Jarvis Landry wants out.
yeah, Jarvis is a free agent, right?
I believe he's asking to be traded.
Oh, he's asking maybe 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah.
I've been I should probably start rainbow collecting Jarvis Landry to be honest with you because in fantasy football I've had him probably twice every year because I play a couple of different leagues, and he's always been a guy who can come in for the 10 to 20 points a week anywhere in there. So yeah, I probably should light something up like that, but so Amari Cooper, though, I was surprised. I'm maybe a little cap space reasons for Dallas to let him go.
I feel bad for Amari.
I mean, he's arguably one of the better route runners in the NFL right now. I don't think he's slow. I think he's big. I think he's got good hands. I think he's provided and produced wherever he's been. So it's really kind of interesting to see him be cut by a Dallas Cowboys team that just has CeeDee Lamb essentially now.
Maybe they have their eye on somebody that they feel is younger and has a longer run than Amari. I know he's kind of getting up there a little bit, but I mean, I don't have him in front of me, but I'm sure he probably had close to a 90 to a 93% completion rating if they touched his hands last season.
Right.
His targets probably are down, I would say, over the past 2 years there with them trying to get Zeke more involved in the pass game. And I don't know that I wouldn't say that Dallas was a good fit or a bad fit.
He was just an okay fit.
Yeah, I if Baker's not healthy, the Browns have nothing. And I was a hate saying it because I'm a University of Miami fan, but I was a big Baker guy.
Sure.
When he was coming out, I was like, this guy's going to do good things, and he just hasn't.
I mean, yeah, Baker, Christ, he almost got sent into the land of no return there for a minute too, didn't he? I mean, he played well and then he didn't, and then they weren't starting him for a little bit. Who I can't remember who they had, but they weren't playing him for a hot minute, and then he came back and he did okay. Um, and he's probably the best shot they got. But what, 5 hours ago, people were talking about Baker to the Bucks before Tom Brady's announcement.
Whew, I didn't see, thank God I was at work. I didn't see anything about
I
that.
saw that. I saw that on
Oh,
Instagram. Or not even just Instagram. I think it was also on Google News. But yeah, that would have been nuts too. Baker to the Bucks. What does that do? Like, I don't think you get back to the Super Bowl in that caliber. Like, Baker's a decent quarterback, serviceable dude, but I don't think he's going to take the Bucks to the bowl.
uh, any given Sunday. I
Well,
mean,
you're not wrong. I never thought Aaron Rodgers would lose this season either. So whatever, it is what it is. We can always be right and wrong. All right, man. Last topic, and then we're going to shut it down for this episode here. The baseball strike is over.
thank
It's
God.
completely over. Me too, dude. I was sweating this. What does it mean for the hardcore baseball collectors? I know that you have a passion for baseball side of things a little bit more than I do. So I'm gonna let you speak on this one.
Realistically, I think for depending on how you're collecting, whether it's a PC or stuff to make money on secondary market with resales down the road, baseball never stopped. Everyone was like, "Oh, look at baseball! Look at baseball!" It literally never stopped. And regretfully, they always say, bad press is good press, and it's kind of true. Like as much as the people were talking about, "Oh, we're not going to play or we might be delayed,"
Most people
that's
wouldn't even talk about baseball.
but we were front running on everything you saw with news, players this, players that, and I think when the players start putting that stuff out there, that's when the steam gets picked up for the sport because they're not looked at simply as baseball players, but
People
as
too.
people that are being real.
Yep.
So you're gonna have people that may not be hardcore baseball looking at that from an athlete standpoint and kind of sharing it, and then maybe dipping their toes or just going to see. Let me go pick up one of his cards real fast. But baseball never really slowed down. It's been crazy already with the signings that are coming out, the people that are moving. Um, I think it's going to be very interesting to see everything else that shakes out. I like the changes that were made. I mean, some of this stuff is dumb, but I believe slapstick baseball is kind of good for the sport. None of these five-person shifts to cover one guy's batting spot.
Sure.
We won't know until we actually play with it for a little while. The seventh inning double headers was stupid. Glad that's gone.
Yeah.
The man on second base and extra
Yep.
inning,
That's
glad
gone.
that's gone. So I mean, I believe they made some good changes, and it really seems like we're going back to old school baseball, which is kind of nice to see. And I think it's going to be a hell of an interesting year for baseball.
And they have some like advanced development team, and it's a couple of baseball players and an ump or whatever that are going to be working with the idea of the pitch clock and some of that stuff too.
Yeah, there's a pitch clock, a hit timer. They can't stay out of the box so long.
Speed up
Something
the
else.
game, you know.
It can, and it like I think you might see something implemented. And it's only going to be for instances when you can obviously tell they're trying to delay. Like you always see that where my arm. They come out, they spend a couple of minutes. Okay, no, and then the pitcher just stand there trying to get the batter off time. Batter takes time, throw off the pitcher. I think you're going to see a
Right.
lot less of that.
Sure. A lot of less cat and mouse.
Yeah, less shenanigans. Just back to play the game. You do your job. You pitch. I hit. Like so, it's gonna be. It's back.
Good.
That's really all that matters.
I mean, I'm excited. I posted my first short on YouTube, but I copied it from one of my Instagram posts, just Mike Trout, and I said, "Baseball, who's excited?" So, one of those deals. I'm ready. I'm ready for the season to start.
And it's for
Um,
people like him that I feel the worst for. I mean, gets hurt last year. Terrible, misses games. The year before that, shortened season.
yep.
I mean, so it's like, and he's in his prime right now. And people that don't know baseball, that's the Michael Jordan of baseball.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says.
without championships because they just don't matter as much in baseball.
I think that they matter, but I think that basketball is really the last sport other than hockey where you play matters just as much as what you play.
Sure.
So until the owners really get involved, but you see a lot more with star players that they stay where they're signed, especially with guys who aren't that number 1 through number 10, choice. They take a chance. Hey, you chose me, I choose you, and we'll see what happens. Like that's something I read. One of my guys is Freddie Freeman, and I swear to God, if he goes into pinstripes, I'm gonna be very upset.
No Yankees for Freddie. Come on, guys.
I will be very very upset.
All right. Last, I'm going to give you a chance for 2 hot takes. Who's the biggest bust and the biggest boom in baseball coming up this season? I know I just put you on the spot. We didn't even talk about this was going to happen.
Are we talking about playing wise or card wise?
I mean, mix it together and average it out or something, or just go card wise if you're more comfortable that way.
I think if a couple guys get called up this year, it will be a huge somebody that I've been buying for probably the past 3 to 6 months and just find the right deals. Go on ending now, catch the right auction at the right price, and that's Bobby Witt Jr.
Okay.
When he comes up, just his mindset, the way that he is coming from the in-depth baseball family that he's come from. His dad, 14-year pro,
Sure.
I believe, 14 years, either 14 or 16.
Was it Doug? Is that his dad?
No, Bobby Witt Sr.
Oh, okay. Yeah, duh. Wow. Hey, good one, Nick.
Like 12 or 14 years with the Rangers, played a couple years with the Diamondbacks, won a World Series, but just a powerhouse. And so to be a kid and be around that your whole life, and
I'd agree. Like Steph Curry.
yeah, and it's just growing up. So when he comes up, I think that he'll be great. I think Dominguez is still another year off. A spicy hot take might be not anytime soon, but Acuna's little brother.
What's his name? You don't remember his first name? I don't remember either.
Not off the top of my head.
But
We'll have to put that in the comments.
So he's in the potential to be called up this year?
I think he might be a year off, but with baseball, you never know. Two or three people get injured, come on up. And then obviously for me, I think that one of the biggest payouts will be Wander Franco.
Sure.
I think he is the real deal.
Just don't collect his top space, guys. There's like 800,000 of them.
Oh, no, go. Yeah, the rookie bases that came out this year, don't do it. It's just, we'll do it, but for the right price.
Or the right reason.
Yeah, raw, don't pay anything over more than like $8-10. I mean, it's just not worth it.
Well, it's perfect.
Like, it's just not good. I'm trying to think. And I think that you're going to see a very strong year for pitchers. The most interesting thing that I'm interested to watch is Degrom and Scherzer together.
Just thinking Degrom, actually. I think he's still a come up in a way. I think pitchers don't get enough recognition in the hobby.
I think that if they don't change the changes they made last year with the sticky tack or whatever people were using, whether you were using it to get a actual gain, shame on you. But if you were using it for pure grip, I honestly think the MLB hurt DeGrom. That's my personal take on it. I think that if they wait till the offseason to make those changes, he would have never got hurt and realistically been in the talks for MVP.
Fair enough.
Not Lion, but MVP.
Wow. That's incredible.
Watching those two guys pitch together this season, I think is going to be one of those immaculate type things. Like, the only thing that comes to mind right now for me is like the mid-90s Braves with Glavine.
Oh, Jesus. Smoltz, Maddox. Yep.
Yeah, like that trio. Like, that's what I'm kind of envisioning in my head.
That's fair. That's fair. Who's a bust? We need one bust at least. Coming into the season, he's played okay. I mean, probably going to fall off. Everybody said it was Rhys Hoskins last year.
I hate saying it, but I think Harper's going to have another. Like, I see Harper falling off even more. I hate to say it, but I think that I don't know that Shohei could do.
He can't live up to what he did last year, can he?
I don't think he could do it again.
Right.
don't. And like I know I believe they talked about shutting him down from pitching. I'm not sure if they're doing that or not.
That
But his
sounds
bat,
crazy because that's where half of his skill is, literally.
yeah. But even if playing the field, like doing what it'd be give him more time to focus on hitting realistically. And
He's a
now
hell
with
of a hitter, dude. I mean, that's why
yeah,
he win.
and then other than that, Jordan Alvarez, it's hard for me to say because
Say it loud. I bought way too many of them.
no, I really like him, but I I don't know if he might be one of those guys that takes a little bit more time than what we thought to be what we thought he was going to be.
He's raw, right? He's got raw power,
Yeah,
raw talent, and in the Astros, you'd think he'd be getting the right attention to culminate that, but ultimately, I mean, his hype was huge coming out at 18 or 19, whatever it was, and couple years fast forward, and it's calmed down a lot.
it
So
has.
okay, well, hey man, I really appreciate this episode 1 of Nothing.
We'll figure it out.
We will. We'll get something titled up, but I can't wait to post this on the YouTube for some people to check out and let us know what they think.